Video, we will count down our recommendations for the top 10 finest new survival movies of 2022 so far. And, just a little reminder, in addition to proper survival films, we have also chosen a few films that have a bit more thrill and mystery to their story, but they do have a survival story as a backdrop. So, watch the entire video to ensure you don't miss any of the movies on the list. Now let's start the video. Number 10. The Immaculate Room. It is a 2022 psychological survival thriller film, written and directed by Mukunda Michael Duell. The plot centers on newlyweds, Mike and Kate, who take part in a strange scientific experiment for a chance to win $5 million. The task is to survive for 50 days in a modern, white room in total secrecy, and if they succeed, they will win $5 million. It may seem like an easy thing to accomplish, but there are certain rules. For instance, they are not allowed to use their phones or contact their families, but they are accompanied by the mysterious voice of the Immaculate Room, which will keep them in place if they start to escape. However, as time passes, they are forced to go through humiliating challenges that weaken their will and reawaken their inner fears, which they might not survive. To be honest, the first half of the film is a little slow and predictable, and the entire film takes place in one large white room, so lower your expectations and watch it if you're looking for an unusual film. And the film has a 5.1 rating on IMDb, and it's Number 9. Deadstream. It is a 2022 horror survival comedy film, directed by Vanessa and Joseph Winter. The live stream format might throw off some viewers, but trust me, it's worth watching, even if you're not a fan of this format. The story is about Sean, a well-known online celebrity who is recognized for making videos that claim to be about him performing stunts to overcome various problems. However, after one of his videos caused a debate and cost him both his advertisers and a sizable portion of his fan base, he was eager to grow his group of fans once more and find new sponsors. In order to accomplish that, Sean plans to go live and spend the night in the reportedly haunted Grimm mansion, where many people are said to have been murdered. However, chaos starts when he mistakenly irritates a frightening ghost, turning his return into a real-time battle for his survival against a deadly merciless force. And the film has a 6.6 rating on IMDb and a 79% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 8. Shut In. It is a 2022 survival thriller drama film, directed by DJ Caruso. The plot of the film centers on Jessica, a young single mother of 2 young children, who gets ready to sell her grandmother's home after she dies of old age. However, she is interrupted by her old alcoholic boyfriend, Rob, who arrives with his nasty friend, Sammy, and locks Jessica in the room before disappearing. However, when Sammy unexpectedly sneaks back in with malicious intentions, Jessica's situation worsens, and she is forced to use her wits to keep her 2 young children safe, while also attempting an escape. This film is marketed as a horror film, but it's more of a survival thriller, and the story is acceptable, but the film excels in aspects of suspense and thrills, and I was genuinely impressed by how terrific it really was. This is an excellent film, especially if you enjoy psychological survival stories. And the film has a 5.8 rating on IMDb and a 95% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 7. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It is a 2022 survival slasher film, directed by Helena Reagan. The plot revolves around Bee and her friend Sophie, who go to a weekend party in a house owned by Sophie's close friend David's family. However, just after the celebration starts, a thunderstorm leaves the house without power and disconnects all phone lines and cell phones, leaving all of the guests stranded. Now, in order to kill time, they choose to play a game in which one player poses as a murderer and takes out the other party guests. But when an actual person dies while playing the game, mass panic sets in, and the selfish, egotistical friends begin to turn upon each other. Now that they are cut off from the rest of society, their survival depends on finding out who is behind the murder, while still doing everything they can to survive the evening. Overall, it is a very entertaining slasher thriller that balances humor and gore perfectly. And the movie has a 6.3 rating on IMDb and a 69% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 6. 13 Lives. It is a 2022 biographical survival film directed by Ron Howard. The film is based on the true story of the huge multinational rescue effort for a Thai football team that was stuck in the Tham Luang cave following an extremely sudden rainstorm. While facing tremendous odds, a crew of the country's most qualified and skilled swimmers, who are better adapted to pass the maze of waterlogged narrow underground passageways, joined forces with Thai authorities and more than 10,000 locals in a plan to carry out a dangerous extraction, while the 12 youngsters and their instructor fight to survive in underground Thai tunnels. You may have seen a few films and television shows on the subject, but this one takes a different look at the crew as they attempt their most difficult swim to date, highlighting the everlasting strength of humanity in the process. It is a suspenseful survival thriller based on a true story that will have you gripped from beginning to end. And the film has a 7.8 rating on IMDb and a 95% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 5. X. It is a 2022 slasher thriller film directed by T. West. The story takes place at a farmhouse owned by an older couple in isolated Texas farmland in 1979. And the main plot centers on commercial film actors and a local film team that arrived to shoot an independent film there. The old couple initially had no knowledge of the filming process, but when they find the actors participating in the activity while the group is filming, they become extremely enraged for unidentified reasons. As the day turns to night, the group soon learns that they are not safe and are being hunted down by a local attacker who is slaughtering the crew members one by one in the most terrible manner. The story progresses as the group finds themselves battling for their survival, and you never know who will survive the night. This is a classic horror slasher that also offers a good survival thrill and lots of violent killings. And the movie has a 7.6 rating on IMDb and a 75% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 4. Against the Ice. It is a 2022 historical survival film written by Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. The film is set in 1909 and centers on Iceland's Alabama mission, commanded by Captain Ejnar Mikkelsen, which was aiming to dispute the United States' rights to northeastern Greenland, which was based on the assumption that Greenland was divided into two separate pieces of territory. In pursuit of his goal, Mikkelsen and his untrained crewman, Ivar Iverson, skate throughout the ice, leaving their staff behind with the boat, but unexpectedly, the journey back to the ship is much more difficult as they are forced to deal with severe starvation, dehydration, and a polar bear encounter. It is a true story of brotherhood, passion, and survival as two men travel through uncharted territory in Greenland on a perilous adventure that alters the course of world history. It might not be a great survival film, but it's worth watching. And the movie has a 6.5 rating on IMDb and a 57% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 3. Triangle of Sadness. It is a 2022 survival comedy film directed by Ruben Östlund. The plot follows Carl and Yoya, two supermodels who are dating primarily to increase their mutual social media popularity. But unfortunately, their routine lives take a hilarious twist when they are invited on an extravagant ship for the super wealthy, which is captained by an insane ship captain. In addition to Carl and Kaya, there are numerous participants on the cruise who are extremely wealthy, along with British arms traders and some weirdos. At first glance, everything appears to be normal, but when extreme dizziness strikes the guests during the cruise dinner, the cruise comes to a disastrous end, trapping Carl and Yoya on a remote island with a number of wealthy individuals who are battling to survive. Although the film leans more toward dramatic comedy than hardcore survival, it still has a good amount of survival thrills, as well as mystery, humor, and a fantastic cast to keep you entertained. The film has a 7.8 rating on IMDb and a 73% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 2. Prey. It is a 2022 sci-fi survival action film set in 1719 and tells the story of Nehru, a brilliant Comanche warrior who was nurtured in the shadow of some of the greatest hunters to ever walk the Great Plains. To establish her skills as a hunter, while hunting deer with her dog one day, she sees the beams of an alien predator's spaceship, which she misidentifies as a Firebird. But in the village, after discovering that one of their group's hunters has been captured by a wild animal, Naru and other tribal members embark on a hunt that leads them to an extraterrestrial enemy that kills humans for fun. What follows later is an intense hunt that leads to a horrifying battle between the Naru and the ruthless alien hunter. If you've seen any of the Predator movies, you'll know that the hunt and survival are what this franchise story is all about, and this one successfully offers everything we want from a good survival film. And the film has a 7.2 rating on IMDb and a 73% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 1. Fall. This survival thriller came out of nowhere and literally surprised everyone with its intense story that will keep you glued to your seat the entire time. The plot revolves around Becky, a mountain climber who is experiencing grief after an unexpected tragedy that has left her traumatized for life. As a consequence, emotionally weak Becky unwillingly agrees to overcome her fears while her adrenaline rush friend, Hunter, arrives in Becky's wrecked life, and the two experienced climbers start on a high-risk climbing journey to the top of the deserted 2,000-foot tower in the Mojave Desert. However, after reaching a tower's top, something goes horribly wrong, trapping them in an unimaginable situation. As they battle to survive the conditions and a shortage of resources, Becky and Hunter must use all of their guts and abilities to survive and develop a strategy to safely climb down. Take my word for it, do not miss this one, it is a great one. And the movie has a 6.4 rating on IMDb and a 79% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's it for today, thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.